Good morning, everyone. Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. And this is lecture number 3 for your physics class. And we are dealing with units and dimensions. Well, in the last class, we had seen one use of units and dimension, which is to convert unit from quantity from one unit to other. We had also seen some important points about units and dimension. Remember, all these important points are going to come as questions in your exam. So do remember them, because with all these important points put together, we will be solving all the questions that have come. So the first point was the principle of homogeneity. Physical quantity on the left hand side and physical quantity on the right hand side of the equation would be same, and therefore they will have the same dimension on left hand side and dimension on right hand side would be same. Then only those physical quantities which are same and having the same dimension can be added or subtracted. But when you talk about multiplication or division, physical quantities which are different can be multiplied or divided. We have seen example. Also, we have seen that when two physical quantities which are same, they are divided, we get something known as ratio. We have seen some examples of ratio. We had also seen that some physical quantities are always numbers. Log of something, sine of something. What is inside log or e raised to the power x? What is on the power of e? All these are numbers. At the same time, the entire quantity is also a number. Now, keeping these things in mind, what we are going to do is we are going to look into the second use of dimension analysis. The first use was converting quantities from one unit to other. The second use of dimension analysis is, and I hope everyone is writing, to find out units and dimensions of the units and dimensions of unknown physical quantities. If you have an equation and in that equation you have some unknown physical quantities, using dimension analysis we can find out their units and dimensions. Remember, here we are not talking about the value. Using dimension analysis we cannot find the value of that quantity, but we can definitely find the unit and dimension of a given physical quantity. And the best example for this, which I always give, is you must have seen this equation. Force is G m1 m2 by r square. Here all of us know that F stands for the force, gravitational force. This is the Newton's law of gravitation. This is gravitational force. Whatever type of force is, whether it's gravitational force, it's electrostatic force, it's magnetic force, spring force, they are all forces. So they have the same unit, they have the same dimension. Gravitational force is nothing but a force. M1 and M2 are nothing but masses. So their SI unit is kg and their dimension is m. R, if you might remember, bacho, R would be, or R is the distance between the two objects between which we are going to find out the gravitational force. Now this is the formula that everyone knows, everyone understands. The only unknown quantity that we see here is G, capital G. And most of us would know that this capital G, which is the unknown quantity, you all know what is that, is known as the universal gravitational constant. Now, having said that, I've told you this is universal gravitational constant. Most of you would be also knowing the value. Most of you would be also knowing the unit. But just to understand how we use dimension analysis, can you tell me how are you going to find out not the value but the unit and dimension of capital G? We are going to use this example, this second number use to find out the unit and dimensions of gravitational constant G. I'll give you 1 minute for you to try this question. Even if you know the answer, the unit and dimension of G, help me in solving this question, because once you understand how you get units and dimension from this, we can solve tougher questions based on the same concept. So I'll give you a minute to solve this question and let me know what is the answer, units and dimension of capital G. Your time starts now. I hope everyone is trying. Online students, offline students, everyone is there. Reddy, Sindhu, Shilata. Online students, offline students. Anyone got the answer? For this one. Please tell me, what is the unit or dimension? If you get the unit, you will get the dimension. If you get the dimension, you will get the unit. So any one of these, if you can get, you would be finding out the other one automatically. Can you tell me what is the unit or dimension of G? How do you go about it? Yes, Reddy has given me answer, meter cube by kg second square. Okay, meter cube. Okay, well done. What about others? Anyone with an answer? So, let me solve this one for you, and I hope that you can do the next one that I'm going to give you. So what you got to do? You just have to apply the simple principle that we have seen. On the left hand side we have force, so on the right hand side we also should have force. So the dimension on left hand side should match the dimension on right hand side. That is what we are going to apply. Now we all know what is the dimension of force. What is the dimension of force? M L T minus 2. Yes or no? That is the dimension of force. Mass into acceleration. MLT minus 2. That will be equal to, we don't know the unit or dimension of G. Let me keep it as G. Into M1 and M2. They are all masses. Dimension of mass is capital M. Dimension of other mass is capital M. Remember, we are only talking about dimensions, not talking about the value. Divided by L. R is distance. The dimension of distance will be L, and it is squared. And now you can easily find out the dimensions of G. 1m and 1m you can cancel out. You can get the dimensions of G, and the dimensions of G would be m minus 1 L square T minus 2. That is the answer that we are looking at.
L power 3, sir.
Yes. not L to the power 2. I made a mistake. Well done. L cube. Well done. That means you are looking at the answer and not copying it down. Well done. Good. That is the correct dimension of G. Everyone got this? Can I have some raise hand that we got this? Okay. Now, once you have the dimension, you can write the unit as well. The SI unit. The SI unit of mass is kg. So you can write kg raised to the power -1. The SI unit of length is meter. So I can write meter cube. The SI unit of time is seconds. Second square. So you can also write it in this fashion. Oops. You can also write it in this fashion. Let me make a better box. You can also write it in this fashion, or you can also write it in a different way. This is in terms of kg, meter, and second. You can also write it in terms of Newton. For example, if I look at this entire thing, so on the left hand side, I can find out the unit like this also. On the left hand side, I have force, which is Newton. On the right hand side, I have G. M1 and M2 are masses, so the SI unit is kg, so it becomes kg square, divided by R is distance, so it becomes distance square, which is meter square. So I can also write the unit of G as SI unit of G as Newton meter square per kg square. Now looking at this one, the blue one, and looking at the green one, they might look a bit different, but you must understand that they are same. Do we understand this? So either you can write it in the blue form or you can write it in the red form. Both of them mean the same thing. Anyone got this? Okay. Then let me ask you a question, give you a question rather, and then I expect that you can give me the answer for this one. Remember, the way questions are asked in a JEE, whether it is JEE Main or JEE Advanced, JEE Main is still very simple. JEE Advanced, they might just ask the question in a different way. You must understand the language of the question and do the question accordingly. So this is how questions are probably asked. This is, let us say, question number 1. Alpha by t square is equal to f into v plus beta by x square. Now there are some unknown quantities and some known quantities. You have to find the dimensional formula or dimensions of alpha and beta. Alpha and beta are the two unknown quantities here, whose dimension we have to find out. The other dimensions are known. T stands for time. Normally T stands for time. F stands for force. Normally F also stands for force. V standing for velocity. That is how it is. And X standing for distance. So the dimensions and the units and the physical quantities T, F, V and X are given to you. Then you are given an equation. And obviously that equation is correct. You have to find out the dimensions or a dimension formula of alpha and beta. How are you going to do this? Well, we have only seen 2 or 3 simple things. Apply those simple things correctly and you will get the answer. So I'll give you a minute to solve this. Once you are done, please let me know. Karthik has given me the answer for alpha as well. Well done. What about the others? We are looking for dimensions of alpha and beta, my dear friends. T is time, F is force. How are you going to get the value of alpha and beta? X is distance. Reddy has given me answers. Well done, beta. Remember, right or wrong answers is not my concern. My concern here is whether you understand how the question is to be done. Once you understand how the question is to be done correctly, in the correct way, answers are going to come automatically. We will not have to worry any further for getting the answer once you understand the process. I give you 1 minute. Okay. So now let me help you in solving this. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? On the left hand side, we have one term. That term is alpha by t square. On the right hand side, we also have two terms. One is f into v and the second is beta by x squared. Now remember, whenever we are solving a question, we are going to use simple things in solving that question. What is the simple thing that we have to use here? Now, on the left hand side, as you can see, we have got two terms which are added. Term number 1 and term number 2. These two terms are added. And then on the right hand side, we have the third term which is equal to the addition of these two terms. Now we have seen that only same quantities or similar quantities can be added or subtracted. That means term number 1, which is now highlighted in pink, term number 1 and term number 2, which is again highlighted in pink, should be the same physical quantity. So F into V, whatever physical quantity it is, that must be same as, let me make it a bigger thing, that must be same as this quantity, because only similar quantities can be added or subtracted. Now, we do not know what is alpha by beta square, what is the unit, what is the dimension, but we definitely can find out the dimension of F multiplied by V. How will you find out the dimension of F multiplied by V? F is force. The dimension of force is ml t minus 2. That is the dimension of force. I multiply this dimension of force by velocity. The dimension of velocity is L t minus 1. Actually, force into velocity becomes power, and we will see this formula in the chapter on work, power and energy. So, force into velocity is m L t minus 2 into L t minus 1. That must be equal to the other quantity, which is beta, the dimension of beta, or beta divided by x squared. X is length, x is distance, so the dimension is L square. Remember here, when I have written this equation in the bigger block, this equation only refers to the dimension of these two quantities. Please do not take them as they are equal physical quantities. They have the same value. No, they don't have the same value. We are not talking about the value. We are only talking about the dimension of this quantity is same as the dimension of this quantity, because then only they can be added. I hope you understand the meaning. Yes or no? Can I have raised hand that we understand this? that we are only talking about dimensions here. We are not talking about the values of these quantities. We are only talking about dimensions, and we are only talking about the units. Well done. Now it's very easy to calculate the dimension of beta. The dimension of beta will be this L square will go on this side, and you will have the dimension of beta, my dear friends. The dimension of beta will be M, 1L, 2L, 1L, 2L, and then you have L square. So M L raised to the power 4, T raised to the power of minus 3. That becomes the dimension of beta, and that was the question that was asked. You can also find the unit from here. The unit of beta, mass is kg, length is meter, meter raised to the power 4, time is second SI unit, second raised to the power of minus 3. That becomes the unit of beta. Once you get the dimension, you can easily get the unit. So we will not solve for both, can only solve for one, and we can get the answer. That was about beta, the value of beta. How are you going to get, not the value of beta, the unit and dimension of beta? How are you going to get the value of alpha? Remember, alpha is on the left hand side. It's a dimensional equation. It's an equation. So dimension on left hand side must also be same as the dimension on right hand side. That means, my dear friends, alpha by t square, the dimension of alpha by t square must be same as the dimension of f into v. F into v is ml t minus 2 multiplied by v. V is lt minus 1. From this box, calculating this box, we should be able to get the value of alpha. And what is the value of alpha going to come? It is very simple to get it from here. The value of alpha is going to come as, not the value of alpha, the dimension of alpha is going to come as, here I must not write it as small t square, I must write it as capital T square. Capital T is the dimension of time. Now I can easily find out the dimensions of alpha. The dimension of alpha will be m L square t minus 1, and that was the answer for alpha. And we already have the dimension of beta. Do we understand this? Can I have raised hands from everyone in the class that we understand this? So these are the ways in which questions are asked, and you must know that one question will definitely come from this particular chapter, whether it's JEE Main or it's JEE Advanced. One question definitely comes from this one. I hope everyone has noted this down, yes or no? We have done simple things. Only the given points that we have written, 4 or 5 points that we have written, we are using those 4 points and solving and getting the answers. So one more question for you. This question has come many times in JEE. It first came in one of the JEE Advanced, that time it was IIT-JEE, and then it has been repeated many times in the JEE Main. For n number of moles of a gas, van der Waals equation is P minus A by V square multiplied by V minus B is equal to nRT. Find the dimensions of A and B. So you have to find out the dimensions of A and B. A and B are the unknowns. What are the knowns which are in green? P is gas pressure. V is the volume. Rest I don't think is required. Anyways, T is the temperature of gas, N is the number of moles, and R is the universal gas constant. Can you tell me what are the dimensions of A and B? I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this. Yes, beta, did you get the answer? What are the dimensions of A and B? I'll give you 1 more minute. Yes, Karthik got the answer. Yes, beta, tell me. Dimensions of A and B. Okay, well done. So, how do we go about this? It's very simple. Again, we are using the same principle that we have seen, the same important point. Look at these two quantities, V and B. Look at these two quantities, which I have enclosed in the red box. Look at these quantities, V and B, enclosed in the red box. These two quantities are subtracted. Now remember, only those quantities can be added or subtracted which are similar. Same quantities with the same dimensions, they only can be added or subtracted. That means V and B must have same dimensions, same units. They must be the same quantity. Remember, here we are not talking about the value of V and B being equal. No, the value of V and B will not be equal, but their dimensions or units would be same. V is volume. The dimension of volume is L cube, and hence the dimension of B becomes L cube. That is my first answer. The dimension of B becomes L cube, which is the dimension of volume. Look at the second box. In the second box, again, we have two terms which are subtracted. The first term in green is P, and the second term also in green is A by V square. Again, you must understand that only same term, similar quantities can be added or subtracted. That means pressure P dimensionally must be equal to A by V square. They must represent the same quantity. Here again, we are not talking about their values, we are talking about their dimensions. So from here I can write the value. No, not the value. The dimension of A is P multiplied by V square. I will just put the dimensions of P. P is pressure, ml minus 1, T minus 2. That is the dimension of pressure. L cube is the dimension of volume. So L cube raised to the power of 2. You solve these simple things and I think you will get m L raised to the power 5, T raised to the power minus 2, and that becomes, my dear friends, the dimensions of the quantity A. M L raised to the power 5, T raised to the power minus 2. How many of you got this? Please raise your hands. Well done. That means we are moving in the right direction. We have just used simple things. Just use simple things, and using those simple things, we have been able to calculate, find out examples and solve them. This is the next one in line. Question number 4. Can you see this question number 4, beta? You can raise your hands. Now I can see you. Question number 4. I hope everyone is doing this. Alpha is equal to f by v square sine of beta t. Now this question has come in JEE many times. We are only doing those questions which have the potential or which have already come in JEE. Alpha is f by v square sine of beta t. What are the known quantities here? Let me just highlight them in yellow. F is force. We know what is force, dimension as well as unit. V is velocity. We know what is velocity. T is time. These three quantities, these three units are known to us. The only two unknowns in the equation are the green one alpha and also the green one beta. Remember, we are not talking about the values of alpha and beta. We are talking about the dimensions of alpha and beta. From this equation, can you tell me, assuming that this equation is correct, can you tell me what are the dimensions of alpha and beta? Your time starts now. Remember, at any point in time, if you can do any one question correct, that means all the questions above it you have done it correctly, because I always do questions in a way that at whatever level you solve a question, all the previous one are simpler and you have done all of them even if you could not do them in the first attempt. So if you can do this question, assume that you have done all. 1 minute. Once you are done, please raise your hands so that I know that you got the answer. Beta has no dimension. Okay, what about alpha? Beta has no dimension. What about alpha? Alpha is angular velocity. Beta is angular velocity. Okay, how are we supposed to do this? That's the question. Remember, we have to understand beta, what is asked in the question. Now, Let us first try to find out the dimension of beta. Now, look at this quantity which I have drawn in a box. Look at the quantity which I have drawn in a box. This is sine of something, right? Now, sine of something is again, this entire quantity is a number. Yes or no? Do we understand this? This entire quantity is a number. We understand this. Now, this entire quantity is a number. Apart from that, whatever is inside this small bracket, the blue bracket, that is an angle. Okay, my screen has gone. Why it has gone, I don't understand. Let me try to bring it again. Something has happened. Okay, I may have accidentally closed it. So let me try to bring it back again. Okay, sometimes funny things happen. Okay, I may have accidentally closed it. Okay, now look at this small quantity which is in the blue box. Now this small quantity in the blue box is something which is inside sine. And I told you this something inside sine has to be an angle. Yes or no? This has to be an angle. Now the angle has unit, but it does not have any dimension. Do we understand this? This beta into t should be dimensionless. Beta into t should be dimensionless. So beta multiplied by t, the dimension must be equal to m0, l0 and t0. Do we understand this? Beta into t must have 0 dimension. That means beta must have dimension of m0, l0, t0 divided by t. So it should have dimension of t raised to the power of -1. When I say t raised to the power of -1, this becomes, you can call it angular frequency or angular velocity or whatever. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. So beta has a dimension of 1 by t or t raised to the power -1. So far, so good. Now let us try and find out the dimension of alpha. Now again, let us move back to this red block. This red block, entire red block is a number. So it does not have any dimension. This red block does not have any dimension. So the dimension of alpha, please mind my words, please mark my words. So the dimension of alpha must be coming from f by v square. Do we understand this? Remember, I am not talking about the value of alpha. I am talking about the dimension of alpha. Sine into beta t, sine of beta t does not have any dimension. It is a pure number. So dimension of alpha must come from f by v square. If we understand this, we just put the value, not the value, the dimension of ml of force, which is mlt minus 2, divided by the dimension of velocity square. The dimension of velocity is lt minus 1. Square it, we divide it, and we should be getting the dimension of alpha from here. Yes or no? No or yes? And the dimension of alpha from here will be m l minus 1. This is the answer, my dear friends, that I was looking at, which is the correct answer. This is the dimension of alpha. Did you get it? Yes or no? How many of you got this? Well, then one more question for everyone who could not do this. And I hope that you can do this. Again, all the questions that we are doing, they have come in previous year JEEs. Just taken them from the papers as well. A long list. So this is again from one of the JEEs. And this is the question number 5. Alpha is f v square by beta square log to the base of e 2 times pi beta by v square. Unknown quantities, as you can see, are alpha and beta. Beta is here also. The known quantities are in yellow now. F is force and V is velocity. Can you tell me the dimensions of alpha and beta, my dear friends? Alpha and beta, my dear friends. I'll give you a minute. So, my dear friends, are you ready with your answers? Karthik has given me an answer already. Well done, Karthik. Given me 2 answers for beta, no answers for alpha. Okay, remember, correct or wrong answers are not the issue. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that are you trying the question or not? That is the only concern for me right now. You should be trying the question no matter what. You get the answer or not, that is a different scenario altogether. Don't worry, Karthik. I'm not worried about whether your answer is correct or not. I'm only seeing whether you are trying, and I can see that you are trying, and that matters to me now. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Okay? Shall I solve it for you? Let us do it. Now, let us look at this red box. This red box is log of something. You can only find log of a number. Yes or no? Yes or no? So this entire quantity is a number. It should not have any dimension. Look at this 2 and pi. This 2 and pi are numbers. They cannot have any dimension. So dimension wise they are gone. What is left is beta by v square. Now this beta by v square must be dimensionless. So that must be equal to m to the power 0, L to the power 0 and t raised to the power 0. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. That simply means not the value I am talking. The dimension of beta must be same as the dimension of v square, which will be going here. The dimension of v is lt minus 1, lt minus 1 square. And that is the answer, my dear friend. That is the answer for this one. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. That is the answer that I was looking for. The value of beta is simply not the value. Why do I keep on saying value? Because I want to confuse you every time I say value. You must understand that we are definitely not talking about the value. We are but definitely talking about the dimensions. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Beta is the dimension of beta is now known. Now let us concentrate on getting the dimension of alpha. Now look at this bigger block. This bigger block is log of something. Log of something, that something is number, and log of something is also a number. So this entire quantity is also a number. Yes or no? So it does not have altogether any dimension. So the dimension of alpha, my dear friend, must be equal to fv square by beta square. Remember, I am not talking about the value, I am talking about the dimension. Do we understand this? So now we can just put the dimension of force ml t minus 2, that is force ka dimension, remember, not the value, multiplied by the value of force, no, the dimension of velocity divided by beta square, not the value dimension. Beta is lt minus 1 square. And as you can see, you will straight away get the dimension of beta. This will cancel out and you get the dimension of beta. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No or yes? Did you get this answer? Everyone? Again, it doesn't matter whether you got the correct answer or not. What only matters is whether you understand how this question is done. Because you might be lucky that you get the same question. Might get it. Many times it has happened that whatever question we have discussed in the class, and I'm not talking about JEE Main because JEE Main has got too many sessions. One or more questions will definitely match. In JEE Advanced also, the questions that we have done in the class, the same questions have come in the examination hall, and that is why whatever questions we do, they are very important that you understand and remember them. Now, since you are mature students, I will give you this question and you can find this question in your examination hall as well, because these are the questions which are now coming into the picture. Most of the questions that you get in JEE these days, they are not based on ML and T. They are also based on epsilon naught, mu naught, electric field, magnetic field, current, charge, and so on. And that is why this question. This is also a question. The first time it came was in IITEE. It was known as IITEE 2003. It has been repeated many number of times after this. This is question number 6. What is the dimension of this one? And I hope that you can give me the answer. Remember, it is going to test your knowledge of 12th standard. Normally with 11th standard students, I do not do these questions because they do not know what is epsilon naught, what is mu naught, so there is no point of doing this. With you guys, I'm confident that you know what is mu naught and epsilon naught. Yes or no? You know it or not? This is a yes. Karthik says yes. This is a no. I do not have this symbol on the chat, I think. What is mu naught? Is a permeability of air, free space. Mu naught is permittivity. What is the dimension of 1 by mu naught into epsilon naught? Now remember, there are certain things that you will have to remember. There are certain golden things that you will have to remember. Dimensions of certain quantities, because in the examination hall, because in the examination hall, it won't be possible for you to find out the dimension of mu naught, find out the dimension of epsilon naught, then divide 1 by mu naught and epsilon naught. You will not get so much of time, my dear friends. So these all things must be by hearted, so that whenever they come in an examination hall, you must be able to find out these dimensions, they must be by heart for you. Do you get this? Now, instead of going any further, you must know, and I will do it here, answer or solution. 1 by mu naught into epsilon naught is actually equal to c square. Do you know this? Yes? No. If you know it is this, the value is equal to c square, so dimension will also be equal to dimension of c ka square. C is speed of light. So speed of light ka square, and you have your answer. Yes or no? No, yes. These all dimensions you have to by heart. You are not going to solve it in the examination hall. Remember, JEE is not cleared in the examination hall. JEE is cleared in the classroom. JEE is cleared in the classroom. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. And here is the list that I have created. And you must by heart all these dimensions. You must by heart all these dimensions, because any one of these dimensions may be coming to you in your exam, and that time we will not have enough time to go through these dimensions. So here they come. Do you see this? You'll have to find out the dimension of these quantities and keep them safe somewhere. The camera has gone, so I don't see you. The first one is, I hope I'm there. Yes, I got this. Option A. Option A for which one? Option A for the previous question? Previous question is not option A, my dear friend. It is option C. C squared. So the correct option is option C. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No or yes? Do we understand this? Do we understand this? Say yes or no. This is yes. This is no. Do we understand this?
Sir, speed of light is L by T power -1.
Yes, beta. Oh, sorry. Yes, yes. So it is option D. Sorry. Option D, no? Sorry. I did not see that. L minus 2. Option D. Option D, no? Or option C?
Yes, sir, it's option D.
Option D, why? I've corrected it for you. See, these are the things that you must remember, because you are going to do this mistake, my dear friends. Probably that is the mistake that you have done. 1 by mu naught into epsilon naught is c square. And here they are asking you the dimension of 1 by mu naught into epsilon naught. So the answer is D. Most of the cases what happens is they ask you the dimension of mu naught into epsilon naught. If they would have asked you the dimension of mu naught into epsilon naught, then the answer would have been E. Do we understand this? So remember, read the question very carefully, because a simple miss, and that is why they will give you both the options, so that if you miss that simple thing, you are gone. Got my point, beta? Okay. Then these are the dimensions that you will write in your book and remember them. You will find it out, write in your book and remember them. Epsilon naught into E square. Do you know what is this? E square by 2 mu naught. Do you know what is this? 1 by root over LC. Do you know what is this? R into C, L by R, E by B. Do you know what are these things? Yes or no? Yes or no? So you will have to remember their dimensions and remember them and write them in a place. All these things that I am showing it to you right now must be in your notebooks, because a question will come which will be using any of these and then giving you a question. Do we understand this? Okay. So I will finish it here. I will finish this class here. I will be sending you some practice sheets that you will be attempting at home. Remember, JEE is the speed of your skills, more of your speed. The more the number of questions that you do, the better are your chances of doing well, great in the exam. So I'll be sending you some practice sheets. We'll attempt them, solve as many questions as possible, because one of those questions are going to come in your exam. I can give that to you in writing. I'll see you in the next class. Take care. Have a nice day. If you have any doubts, I'm always here to help. Bye bye. God bless you all.